There's a season some Christians enter where prayer feels like shouting into an empty room. The worship songs don't land. The Bible feels like a history book, and the silence on the other side of prayer is terrifying. Most people assume this silence means they've done something wrong, or worse, that God is done with them. But what if the silence isn't abandonment? What if it's the most intimate thing God ever does for a soul? This experience has a name. It's called the dark night of the soul. And it has happened to some of the greatest followers of God who ever lived. In the next few minutes, I'll show you what Scripture actually says and what God is really doing in the silence. The phrase dark night of the soul was coined by a 16th century Spanish mystic named John of the Cross. He wrote it while imprisoned by his own church, in a cell so dark he couldn't read. Yet he described the experience as a gift. But the concept didn't start with John. It starts in the Psalms, centuries earlier, with a man after God's own heart. David, king, warrior, worship leader, wrote these words in Psalm 22. Notice, David doesn't say, "I sinned and lost God." He says, "I cry by day and you don't answer." He's praying. He's reaching. God still feels absent. This wasn't unique to David. In Psalm 88, the writer Heman ends the entire psalm without resolution. No triumphant ending, just darkness. Psalm 88 is the only lament psalm in the entire Bible that never pivots to praise. It just ends in darkness. And God kept it in the canon. Then there's Job, a man God himself called blameless, who cried out and heard nothing but wind. Job wasn't silenced because of sin. He was blameless. The silence came despite his faithfulness, not because of failure. Even the prophet Isaiah recognized something staggering, that God sometimes hides himself on purpose. A God who hides himself. That's not the Sunday school version, but it's in Scripture, and it matters enormously. And the most staggering moment of all? Jesus himself cried from the cross, using David's exact words from Psalm 22. The Son of God, in full union with the Father, experienced the feeling of divine absence. If Jesus felt it, you are in extraordinary company. So here's the question that changes everything. Is God absent in the dark night, or is he working in a way you can't see yet? The dark night of the soul is not God leaving. It is God transitioning you from a faith built on feelings to a faith built on foundations. Think of it this way. Every tree that survives a storm does so because its roots went deep before the wind came. God doesn't withdraw his presence to punish you. He withdraws the felt sense of his presence to deepen your roots. Now, there are 3 things happening in the dark night. Let me walk you through all 3. Number 1. God is stripping away what you were depending on instead of him. Many of us build our faith on good feelings. The worship goosebumps, the answered prayers, the sense of warmth in devotions. When those feelings disappear, it doesn't mean God disappeared. It means the scaffolding is coming down so the real building can stand. Quick question before we go on. Have you ever had a season where prayer felt completely dry? Drop A in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Number 2, God is teaching you to walk by faith, not by feeling. Paul writes that we walk by faith, not by sight. And faith, by definition, means trusting something you cannot currently verify. A faith that only works when God feels close is a faith that hasn't been tested, and untested faith is fragile faith. The dark night is the moment God says, Will you trust me when you can't feel me? And everything in your soul hangs on that question. I know what it's like to lie awake on a Tuesday night, replaying everything, wondering if you imagined the whole thing. You didn't. Number 3. God is doing something so deep in you that it bypasses your conscious experience entirely. Paul says in Romans that when we don't know how to pray, the Spirit intercedes for us with groanings that words cannot express. In your driest moment, when you have no words, no feeling, no warmth, the Spirit is praying through you, beneath you, in you. The silence you feel at the surface does not reflect what is happening in the deep. The ocean is still moving when the surface is still. Stay with me, because this next part changes how you read every dark chapter of your own story. Look at how John of the Cross described the season. He called it a loving darkness. Not a punishing darkness, a loving darkness. The kind a surgeon works in when they put you under anesthesia to heal something you couldn't fix while awake. You don't feel the surgeon's work while it's happening. You wake up transformed. The dark night works the same way. And here's the vital distinction that will save you so much unnecessary guilt. The dark night is not the same as depression or sin or spiritual apathy. Depression is a medical and psychological reality that deserves real care. Therapy, community, sometimes medication. Please don't mistake the dark night for a reason to avoid getting help. Spiritual apathy is choosing distance from God, scrolling instead of praying, avoiding community, ignoring conviction. That's different too. The dark night is involuntary. It comes to people who are trying, seeking, showing up, doing everything right, and still feeling nothing. If you are worried that you have sinned your way into this, that worry itself is the evidence that you haven't. Apathy doesn't worry. Love does. So what does this mean for you? On an actual Tuesday morning, when you wake up and God still feels silent. First, name it. Stop calling it a faith crisis and call it what it might be, a dark night. The name matters because it has a context and a history, and it ends. Second, keep showing up. You don't have to feel it for it to count. The act of opening the Bible when it feels like nothing is itself a profound act of faith. God promised to be with you through the fire and the flood, not to prevent them, but to be present inside them. Third, tell someone. The dark night was never meant to be endured alone in silence. Community is part of how God speaks in the silence. Even Jesus, in his darkest hour, was surrounded by his disciples in Gethsemane. He didn't enter the dark garden alone by preference. And John 11:35, the shortest verse in the Bible, shows us something astonishing. Jesus wept at Lazarus' tomb, even knowing he was about to raise him. He didn't skip the grief because he knew the ending. He entered the grief fully. He does the same with you. Fourth, hold the long view. The dark night is a season, not a sentence. Every person in Scripture who went through it came out changed, but not abandoned. David came through his dark night and wrote some of the most beautiful psalms of praise in the entire Bible. The darkness was not the final word. Job came through and said, "My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." The silence deepened his knowing. And there is nothing in heaven or earth that can separate you from the love at the center of this story. Paul wrote those words from prison, not from comfort, from darkness. And he was convinced, not feeling it, convinced. If you are in the dark night right now, I want to say something directly to you. You have not been abandoned. You have not been forgotten. You have not prayed yourself into a corner God can't reach. The very fact that you are still here, still asking, still watching, still wanting Him, is itself a grace. Indifference looks nothing like this. The dawn is coming. Not because feelings will return, but because He who promised is faithful. And the dark night always, always ends in deeper light. If this gave you even a little peace tonight, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments, have you ever been through a dark night? I'll see you in the next one.